Hello, welcome to this Computer Weekly CW500 Club video. My name's Brian Glick, I'm the Editor-in-Chief of Computer Weekly, and we're here at our monthly get-together of IT leaders, and this month we've been talking about IT outsourcing. Now this has been a subject that's been undergoing a lot of change in the last few years. We all got used in the 2000s to these big mega IT outsourcing deals. A lot of companies have moved away from those, and for a number of years after the crash we saw a bit of a slump in outsourcing, but recently, the last couple of years, it's picking up again. So we've been exploring what's going on, what are the trends, and what sort of approaches are IT leaders taking to IT outsourcing now. I'm joined by one of our speakers tonight, Mark Maddocks. Mark is the CIO of Cambridge University Press. Mark, thanks very much for coming on and joining us, much appreciated. Mark, you work in an industry, media and publishing, that's been very heavily disrupted by technology. What does outsourcing mean to you, and what role does it play in your strategy?
No, you're absolutely right. Outsourcing is an absolutely core part of our business strategy. But it's not just outsourcing, actually, it is also offshoring. The distinction being looking to build captive units offshore in India or the Philippines or wherever it is, of people who are actually employed by the university press and working on university business. And so both of them are core to our strategy, and they're actually core not just to our IT strategy, but to our business strategy, as we are looking at business process outsourcing as well.
So, for you with outsourcing, what's changed recently about it, and perhaps more importantly, how do you see that changing in the future?
Yeah, no, I think the key thing for us is that, to answer that question, is to unpack the aims of why we're doing it. And obviously, there is always an aim that is about cost and efficiency, but actually, there are other things. There is about access to skills that is very important, and being able to broaden and get a wider access to a skill pool is really important to us. And actually, another side point is that as we have around 90% of our revenues coming from outside the UK, and hence are denominated in other currencies, looking to build a bit of a foreign exchange exposure hedge is also important to us. So there are a number of really good business reasons beyond the cost reason. And that, I think, drives what the trends are and why it's important. Yes, it's important as we look to drive efficiency, but it's also really important because of the print to digital move that you were talking about, and being able to access a whole range of digital skills that we can't always find in as great a volume as we're looking for in the UK.
I think interesting to hear that in an industry where there is so much change, it's still playing an important strategic role. Now, lots of other industries probably haven't quite gone through that same level of disruption, perhaps, that the publishing industry has in the last 10 years or so. So, if you had one piece of advice, one thing that you learnt from that experience, that you would share with one of your peers who perhaps is facing similar challenges to what you face, what might that be?
Well, I think it would rather depend on where that peer was on their journey. So there are several things. I mean, I think the first thing I would say is be really clear about your aims. And your aims beyond cost reduction, because that's just so important. I think the second thing is think about the model that will work best for the particular piece of work that you are looking to outsource or indeed offshore. And by that I mean, think about, are you looking to buy a service, or are you looking for a staff augmentation model? And you can do staff augmentation as outsourced or an offshore model, but think about your model and then shape your commercial contract and your engagement with the people offshore appropriately with the model. And what I'm saying about that is, if you're in a staff augmentation model, if you're looking for skills and expertise, you have to treat people as an extension of your team. You have to treat them as an extension of your team by how the reporting works, by how you are inclusive in involving them in your strategy and your discussions, and so they understand what you're trying to achieve. And you have to spend time on relationships at every level in the organisation, I think those things are really important if you want that type of model to work. Obviously, it's a bit different and it's a bit simpler if you're just buying services.
No, that's, interesting and well considered advice. Mark Maddocks from Cambridge University Press, thank you for coming on and sharing your experiences of outsourcing. That's all we've got time for on this video. If you go to our website at computerweekly.com, you'll be able to see other video interviews with our speakers from this event, as well as interviews with speakers from past CW500 Club events as well. Thanks for watching.